Hola, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Taking Up Space, a Michele A. Mayer podcast. Super excited about coming forward today with a thought-provoking podcast topic. This is of my product line that I have. This is a hydrator that I have. It's an oil, and it's somewhat lightweight considering in comparison to my serum. It's lightweight. My serum is made with beeswax, so it's a little heavier. Both of them are long lasting, but this one is has no beeswax in it. Is of my organic oil body line. It has geranium. It has mandarin peel, and it has bergamot. And the mandarin and the bergamot, well, actually, the mandarin acts as like a natural exfoliant because it has the citrus. All citruses are natural exfoliants. And the bergamot enhances and strengthens the aura, and the geranium tightens the skin. So it's a beautiful oil, you guys, and it smells so good. Oh, it's a beautiful scent. Little bit of fragrance to it, but for the most part, it is 100% organic. Had a wonderful day yesterday out at Leimert Park. I went to Leimert Park, which is a Afrocentric community in Los Angeles, one of the most Afrocentric communities in the state, honestly, of California. And usually they have the Juneteenth festivals within this community. They have a number of nice boutique shops that service those that are interested in African history or even African American history. So they have like different paint stores where they sell authentic artwork, creations that are done by the hand, like sculptures of different African individuals. They have herbal stores where you can find herbal remedies and different homeopathic and organic products. Food vendors of Caribbean background and of different juices that you find in the Caribbean mostly, such as soursop, sea moss blends. It's just a really nice Afrocentric vibe, and they have music, live music, and they have a number of vendors on the weekend. So this past weekend, my daughter and I set up a small booth, tables, and we offered my body line. And I'm so happy at the response that I got from the people that I got to interact with, because I don't interact with a lot of people. I'm a homebody. I'm a loner, I say to myself, and that's my element. I don't feel like I'm left out or anything. I'm cool with that. I'm very much so a homebody. But I got out and I got to interact with the people, and I got to introduce my body line, and I sold some resins. I have a number of different resins that I have for sale, and I got to educate some people on different tree resins and the sort. It was a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'm very pleased with the outcome of it. Looking forward to going back this weekend coming. Nonetheless, want to speak to today a couple of things. One of which is this upcoming movie, Gladiator 2, with Denzel Washington. I'm super excited about that. I believe it's going to drop in November. And, I did a brief video not too long ago after I saw the Book of Clarence that was written and produced by James Samuels. I believe that's his name. And it was a really good movie to me. Now, to me, it was good because, I got to see what my mind's eye created as far as the times of Jesus, that whole background, the visuals of what was actually going on amongst the original people of Jerusalem and the Romans that had come and had invaded and had, taken authority. It was a first world perspective for me to be able to sit in a theater and look at it in a tangible way without just imagining it within my mind. It was very well put together. I thought it was extremely well written, and very big props to all of those that had taken the time to bring this reality to life. It was a great interpretation of what actually happened. So I'm looking to see what is done with Gladiator 2. I was so excited about it. It got me thinking when I saw that Denzel will be playing in Gladiator 2. I immediately began to think about the original Gladiator and Marcus Aurelius and all of his plight, and which was Russell Crowe. One of my faves. And so much so that I sat on the sofa and I just watched the whole movie. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, because a lot of people don't know the history of Rome. You know, Rome conquered the world, but who are the Romans? Who are these people? Where did they come from? What is their original history? I keep telling y'all, a lot of this stuff comes from Phonecia. We don't give Phonecia enough respect, honestly. I mean, I've been on this trail of Phonecia probably for the last 5 years. Legitimately. Whenever God puts something on me, God knows that I'm going to follow it and I'm not going to lose its scent. Even if I get distracted on some other stuff, I'm going to get back to it when the dust settles. And I think that's why God moves through me the way that God moves through me. I'm a very thorough individual. And you know, it's like with this Phonecia thing, it just started unraveling itself as it went. It didn't come to me as a fascination in the beginning. I was on a journey looking into other things, and just I'm a history buff, and I love to learn about the past. I love African culture. I'm an African cultural lover. I'm going to follow all of it. I want to know all about who we are. I was just raised that way. I was raised in a way where it was instilled in me as a child to know my culture and to be proud of who we are as a people, because we are a magnificent, capital M, magnificent, and a majestic, capital M, group of people. I'm telling you, from top to bottom, everything is A plus. Everything is A plus. We are a majestic, magnificent, beautiful group of people. And the things that we have accomplished in this world, y'all, are in a class to themselves. They're completely all in a class to themselves. Every single thing, anything outside of the fundamentals that we've instilled, the foundations that we've built, pale in comparison. Pale. They haven't been able to be reproduced since. Not any of them. And if they have not been able to be reproduced at the level of which they were initially created. And we're talking thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years ago. Literally. So, you know, like I said, everything goes back to Phonecia. In my ideology, you know, that whole Samaria, Mesopotamia, all the way down through the Levant, the Canaan area, you got to pass through Ethiopia, you got to pass through Egypt, and then bam, you're there at that seashore. Or was it the seashore up through Ethiopia, through Egypt, up through Mesopotamia? I don't know. I mean, that's another conversation. I don't think it really even matters. But the point is that what those people did is, you talk about a great light. I mean, really, like, just from the masterfulness of shipbuilding, the mathematics of it all is what gets me. Because everything that they've done has sprang forth from the mastery of mathematics. One moment. Everything that they have done, as I just said, has sprang forth from the mastery of mathematics. And when you look into mathematics, not to get really technical, but when you look into mathematics, mathematics is the language of God. That is how God speaks. God speaks through mathematics by creating. Everything that is created through math. It is the language. It is the way that the voice of mine is distinguished amongst all of the atoms and all of the energies within the air. It is the mathematics that allows the light to shine. It's the fundamentals. This is all math. All of it. And for these people to have mastered it at the level that they've mastered it at is humbling. It's just humbling. To even be able to sit at these people's feet. Because this is what has happened. You look at the world today, and you look at the children of these people. You look at their offspring, their descendants, the bloodlines of these people. When you look at Egypt and you look at all of the regality, because I think what draws many of us to Egypt, especially many highly melanated people, and even people that are not highly melanated, you're drawn to Egypt because of the majesty of it, the regality of it, the precision of what they did that could last, that will last the test of time. The fact that they incorporated the science of physics and of mathematics and then of spirituality to bind it all together and wrap it up tight and have it in one space where even if you desired to destroy it, you couldn't do it. The physics of it all incorporates itself within our mind, within the realm of the mind, which is the spirit. Even if you put a thought together to destroy such a thing, you couldn't do it. Your own mind would alert itself, or would alert the ether, or would alert the atoms and all of the molecules, or all of the spirits into action to coordinate themselves in a place for things to begin to prevent you from doing such a thing without you even knowing it. I know I'm sounding like I'm talking crazy, but I'm not. So when you see, Denzel, which is our, Denzel, who is better than Denzel? When you see a Denzel who, and I was thinking of this last night when I was thinking of this movie. And I said, well, what makes Denzel so good as an actor? What makes him so great? I had a conversation with a guy yesterday while I was in Leimert. And it's interesting how God's vessels move. See, a lot of times, friend, what we think is important is not important. God, there's this man that walked up to me selling fruit in an igloo cooler. And he began talking to me about stuff. And he began explaining why it's so important to love yourself. And he and I began talking about it because I'm big on that. You got to love yourself. And last night when I was thinking about Denzel Washington and what makes him so intriguing as an actor, I mean, he's a very good actor. And why, every time you go put your money on a movie that Denzel is in, whether you rent it off of the TV or whether you go to the theater or you go to Redbox or wherever you get access to his library of content, you're going to get a good movie. I've not ever seen a movie that Denzel was in and I was disappointed in it. Why is that? What is that thing that makes Denzel hold himself to such a high criteria? So that when you see that name, Denzel Washington, you're in for a good movie. You're going to get quality. What is that? It's the fact that he loves himself. Fundamentally, he loves himself first. He loves himself enough to say to himself, I will not disrespect you. I will not self-sabotage us. I will increase each time I deliver upon something in the positive for us, in our reputation, in our level of excellence. I will overachieve. I will not underachieve. I've not seen the man underachieve. So when I saw this movie, especially something that tweaks my interest as much as Gladiator, because I see the science behind Gladiator. When I see the movie Gladiator, I see Phonecia, I see the Berbers, I see Carthage, I see a particular time in history where I can cross-reference it to biblical accounts, cross-reference it to spiritual topics and characters. And when I saw Denzel, I said, oh, I don't know who his character is going to be. I don't know that. I don't know. But I got to see the regality of what those people look like. Because they look like Denzel. They were just as dark. The original Romans were looking like Denzel, friend. Told you, that whole region. Rome is I don't want to say northern, because northern to me is could be south to someone else. But above Phoenicia, above the Canaan area, the Levant, above Tyre is Rome. They all of this is within the same, somewhat of the same region. The Canaanites were dark like me. I'm just keeping it 1,000 with you. So when you look at all of these places that David had walked through, Philistine territory, Canaan region, all of these areas, and he was able to blend in. He was looking like us, friend. Looking like me. I'm not going to say us because everybody don't look like me, but he was looking brown. No separation. I'm just drawing from what I'm knowing, what I'm reading, what I'm cross-referencing. Jesus the same way. Same way. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And what really gets me, and I have not yet been able to get my hand around it, but I'm going to get it, is what actually happened. What I know, I understand the historical perspectives of it, but what actually caused the demise of such things? And it wasn't just one thing. It was a number of different things. I'm going to speak to it. Just not today. But the demise of that. Because that which they did, all of those people, the Phoenicians, the Canaanites, the Israelites, the Ethiopians, the Egyptians, especially the Mesopotamians, the Sumerians, all of what they did is what we are benefiting from today. I'm here to tell you, when you look at Monaco, when you look at all of these European nations and their mega yachts and their playboy attitude on these yachts, jet skiing and yachting down the coast, the Amalfi Coast, all of that, baby, that is the Phoenicians all day long. All day long. Nobody did it better. They got all of that from the Phoenicians. When you look at the regality, all of the blues and the purples and the gold and the red and the silver and the turquoise and all of the gemstones and the crowns, and that was birthed from the Phoenicians, the Moors, the Berbers, all of it. Nothing, not anything like it came from anyone else. That was 1,000% them. I'm here to tell you. Them. I'm at the point now I'm making another soap. I'm going to make a Beldi soap, which is a Moroccan black soap. But it's actually not Moroccan, because Morocco was of the Moors. The Moors made Morocco. That is a Morisha. That is a Moorish soap. The soaps in general are from the Moors. I mean, let's be honest here. You have many variations, but they perfected it. They made it luxurious. Many didn't even have soap until the Moors came. The world didn't even know of it till the Moors came with it. You must know yourself. You must fall in love with you more than you fall in love with anything outside of you. This is why God said, I will not ever stop saying this, and I don't care if you get tired of hearing it. God said, make sure you tell these people their history. He was adamant. Do not fear. Be courageous. Abide by my law. Know your history and remind these children of what I did. All the miracles that I did, remind them. Because God knows that he's not a puppet. He's not a circus clown. God knew he would not always need to move in the fashion that he moved in. There is a time and there is a season for everything. There's a season for miracles. There's a season for open movement. There's a season for open communication. Then there's a season when I go silent on you. And you must be able to pass the test when I go silent, based upon everything that I did before. These are stages to your knowing. There is a method to this madness. I was going to do this video on the fact that God works through a system of rules. There is an order in God's hierarchy. Then I said, no, I don't want to go with that, because it just didn't seem like enough, and it wasn't interesting enough for me. I only speak to things that are of my heart and that interest me at the moment. And I'm going to speak to it a little bit now because I could tie it into this. There are benefits to having laws, rules. Many people say, oh, there's too many rules. I just want to do it my way, and I just want this and I just want that. Well, I don't want to work with anybody that doesn't abide to a law. If you don't have an internal law within yourself, a code, something that you model your life off of, something you stand on, something that you can't buy, something you will not sell, I can't do nothing with you, because you'll do anything. I can't trust you. And I don't deal with people or situations that I cannot trust. God creates rules and structure so that there's accountability and that there is fairness. But the enemy hates that, because a lot of times, friend, the enemy is always coming to the table feeling inadequate. Whether they are inadequate or not, you and the enemy might have the same monetarily. The enemy might have more than you. You and the enemy might be the same age, might come from the same cultural background, might come out of the same kind of situations, trying situations. Yet, this person still comes to the table feeling less worthy than you because of many different things. It could be upbringing. It could be inadequacy because they don't have or have not established a relationship with God. No one showed them that. They never listened to themselves. They're distrustful of themselves, maybe based upon trauma that they experienced when they were young. Whatever the issue is, I ain't gonna psychoanalyze it. I'll be all day trying to do that. The point is that God created systems, laws for accountability and to make the playing field fair for everyone. Yet a lot of times the lawless ones go about things the backdoor way, the secondhand way, and this is where all these lower level gods come into play because they want to get their will done without adhering to the law that God has established, the fair system, for whatever their reasons are. And you got to beware of dealing with people that don't adhere to any particular law. There's nothing that they adhere to. There's nothing that they are consistent with in regards to structure. The benefits of working in a lawful system or even adhering to some sort of structure is it holds everyone accountable. You adhere to the integrity of the system. The system is something you can respect. And thus, those that adhere to it respect themselves. Righteousness prevails. It lifts them. It crowns them. There is a level of worthiness that they gain from adhering to the system and knowing that they were able to adhere and still overcome. There's a level of worthiness. There's a level of rightfulness that one receives, and it crowns you and it lifts you. It does nothing but better you. Those that don't adhere to a system, those that work without rules, they'll get it however they can. They don't care. They're lawless, disintegrous, and wickedness prevails. Nothing is safe. Everything in their lives is susceptible to any kind of wind that will come and blow on it. Because you've opened yourself up to that thing that is outside of the system that you were created to adhere to. So now you must overcompensate. You over-worry. You micromanage. You manipulate. You do all of these low-level things that one does that doesn't adhere to a system, that doesn't live by a code. Now you got to be God. And you've got to establish relationships with many of these lower level gods and appease them. Because you took it upon yourself to live outside of the law. Thus, it breaks you down. After a while, it will break you down. I've never seen anyone live that way and flourish. I've only seen those that have pivoted and inclined themselves to the law. And after all of that karmic debt, all of that energy you've allowed to pile up through your wickedness is repaid or balanced out with good, you see those people rest. I don't know how I got on that when I was speaking to Phonecia, but I don't know, Spirit just wanted me to get on this because there is a reason for God's law. There are reasons for rules. There are reasons for God's systems. There are. You know a thing by their name. You know a thing by their fruit. Looking forward to seeing Denzel over there in Gladiator 2 as much as you all are. I see a lot of people in their communications on it. When you see Denzel and all of that regality, I want you to think, I want you to remember, I'm telling you, think of Phonecia. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at Phonecia. You're looking at Carthage, Tyre, Berbers, Moors, Motivational. You're looking at that. And it was even grander than that. I mean, we're talking about, the Bible said that you'll never see anything like it again. The grandness of it when it was destroyed. You will never see anything as grand as that again. It said it verbatim, not verbatim, but so in so many words in the Bible. In Ezekiel came and delivered that. God's prophet. So when you see Denzel, even though it's stunning, the colors and the regality of the garb, it's nowhere near the level that it was originally. So even though it looks great, and he's sitting and he's eating grapes and he's in the Roman buildings, all of those buildings were there. They just came and repopulated that. That was already there before the flood. A lot of that. These are the original Romans. I'm here to tell you, it's an interesting time, y'all. Don't want to go too long on it. But know your culture, know your history. I'm a cultural girl. You might be able to swindle me on, the latest fashion or the latest electronic device or the latest AI software, but you'll never swindle me on my culture. You'll never swindle me on God. You'll never swindle me on my history, on my herstory. You won't get me on them. You got me on that other stuff. I need to work on that. But on those things, spiritual foundations, cultural legacies, the laws of God, where I stand in the midst of all of these things, you won't get me on that. And I look to deliver more information so that they won't be able to get you guys either. You love more than you'll ever know. Remember, I told you. Peace and love.